Hey True Seekers, it's Nathaniel here, recording a Mono Hope deck for Mono Monday for Mono May. So we have Levi here, who's our True Seeker. He has the ability that says you may place up to 2 power cards from your hand into your power pool per turn. So we are running 7 Hope power cards because we don't need to run Prayer since this is a mono deck. And I do have some off-color Animo in here, but the main strategies in this deck are going to be Mono Hope. Okay? Alrighty. Whoop. And there. Alright. To start off with, we have 3 Scarlet Cords. Scarlet Cord is an interesting equipment. It says the animal to whom this card is attached may either be returned to your hand or discarded from your small group at any time during your setup phase. If you choose to discard it, search your deck for any Animo with an equal or lesser virtue point and place it in your hand. This card must be discarded once this action is used. This card is really good. You use it to play Animo that have effects when they put into play. You get to search for cards, or put into play you get to draw cards, or put into play you get to recycle cards. This card, Scarlet Cord, is just a really good card. And then once you're done, you can use it to discard that Animo, and you don't have to deal with it anymore. It's really good. On top of that, we are running 2 Peter's Visions. Peter's Vision says search for 1 level 1 Animo and exchange it with 1 level 1 and any attached equipment from your small group. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So we use Peter Vision to return 1 level 1 we don't want in our small group back into our deck for a level 1 ammo that we do want. It's really good. Then we run 1 Paused Maws. Place this card in your active Cine spot or next to it if it's currently occupied by another card. No opponent may reveal a Cine to you on their next turn. At the beginning of your next turn, remove this card as well as any other copies of Paused Maws in your hand, deck, or discard pile from the game. And also help us deal with Cines, we are running Giant Killer. Giant Killer says search your deck for a Mega Cine and reveal it to an opponent. This can only be done if the opponent is not already facing a Cine. Or, if you're facing a Mega Cine, you can return it to the owner and have them shuffle it back into their deck. This is really good because you can get rid of those Tokoro Mega Pluses and you don't have to sacrifice those points to defeat it. It's really good. The themes for the Cines in this deck are discard your cards from your opponent's deck. Brandish is 11 defense Cines, has an ability. As long as this card is active, each time your opponent adds a power card from their hand to their power pool, they must discard the top cards of their deck. Squanchy, action, your opponent reveals top 5 cards of their deck. Choose 1 card and have them discard. Your opponent may then return the remaining cards on top of their deck in any order that they like. Pogo, when this Cine is revealed, both you and your opponent must discard the top cards of your deck. Battle Pole. As long as the Cine is active, your opponent must discard the top 2 cards of their deck in order to use their True Seeker's ability. And Globster. As long as this Cine remains active, your opponent must discard the top card of their deck as soon as their turn begins, before drawing cards. And then the Mega Cines that we have are Scorch Mega, Nash Tree Mega, and Globster Mega. We are also running 2 Goliath Swords to go along with these Megas. Goliath Sword says, as long as this card is attached to your opponent's Mega Cine, you must discard 2 cards, or they must discard the top 2 cards of their deck every time they play an Animo from their hand to their small group, and before applying the abilities of those Animo. When the Cine to whom this card is attached is defeated, your opponent may shuffle any 1 card from their discard pile back into their deck. So the idea behind these Cines and hindrances is that you get to mess with your opponent's deck. You get to make them discard cards from their deck. It's not a good win condition because of Hoof It, which I will show you here in a bit. But you could possibly discard all their Hoof Its and their recycle cards, and then they're just kind of out of luck at that point. Next up, we got Gut Piece. Gut Piece level 1. So, Gut Piece is going to be our target for Scarlet Cord and for Peter's Vision. The reason why I got Piece in this deck is because it has an ability. It says, when you play this card from your hand to your small group, you may search your deck for any one Faith or Hope Animo and shuffle your deck afterwards. So instead of running like Flow Ultra strategy, we are using Gut Piece here to go grab us the Animo that we need. And we're using Scarlet Cord to remove it from our small group, or to play it again from our hands. That way we get a search for 2 Hope Animo. And then we use Peter Vision to put it back in our deck and grab a 3rd Hope Animo. This is like a 3-card combo. It's really good. I've been enjoying this in my Faith deck, and I chose to try it out in my Hope deck. All right. Next up, we have 3 Hoofits. This deck needs to put its Animo back in its deck very desperately because it will run out of steam very quickly if you do not. It has the ability that if this card's in your hand, you may choose to discard. If you do, you may shuffle any 3 cards from your discard pile back into your deck. This is never an Animo you want to play into your small group. You might want to play into your small groups. That way you can discard it with Scarlet Cord, so that way you can go grab what you need. But most of the time, you're going to be using this to put cards from your discard pile back into your deck. All right. We are moving on to our Hope Animo. We are going to run 3 Swimmers. We are going to use Swimmers because Swimmer has the action. Search your deck for 1 standard power card and place it directly into your power pool. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Then we have 3 Tortosaur. Tortosaur says you may search your deck for any level 1 Animo and place it directly in your small group. You can use this to go grab Ultra Conqueror, which is really important for this deck. Aurora. So Aurora has the ability, if this card is in your small group, it provides 1 Hope Power card during your score phase. This may not be activated in the same turn this ability is used. It's also a 1-for-4. Next up is one of our win conditions for this deck, is Professor. Professor is a 2-for-8, and you have to shuffle these 2 Hope Power cards back. He says search your deck for up to 2 level 1 Animo, excluding Ultra, and place them into your small group, if space provides, and shuffle your deck afterwards. So the way that we use him is we use him to shuffle our power cards back into our deck. Once those power cards are back into the deck, it opens us to activate Swimmer and Oinkum level 2 to go grab more power cards. Next up, we got Oinkum level 1. Oinkum level 1 is a 2-for-7. And then it follows up with a Oinkum level 2, which is a 2-for-8, and it searches your deck for up to 2 Hope Power cards and places them directly into your power pool. It's one of the ways you keep your plays going. Next up, we have 3 Hightails. So Hightail is a new card that has joined the game. It has Retreat 1, which is a unique ability. It says, if this card's in your hand, you may choose to reveal it to your opponent. Shuffle it back in your deck. If you do, draw 3 cards. It's an amazing effect. He's also a 2-for-9, so if you're getting towards the end of the game and you just need a level 1 to push, you can grab this one with Professor or Tortosaur. It's awesome. But you're also using it to just basically draw extra cards every turn. Next up, we have the new Socro, level 1. Socro level 1 has the ability, once per turn, as long as this card's in your small group, you may shuffle any 1 card from your hand into your deck. If you do, draw a card. So sometimes you'll draw into cards that you do not want in your hand and you don't want to put into your small group. You much rather have those in your deck so that way you can grab them with Professor when you're ready for them. So we use this Socro to put those cards back in our deck and then draw a replacement card. On top of that Socro, we are running the Red Letter Day Socro, which has the ability, when this card is played from your hand to grow Socro level 1, you may shuffle your hand back into your deck and draw 5 cards. It's really good, extremely helpful, because this deck needs to have draw powers, and Hightail isn't the only thing that draws. Next up, we have the new Conqueror, who's a 2-for-7. When this card is played from your hand into your small group, draw 1 card. This card may not be grown or activated in the same turn in which is added to your small group. He's great. You play him, you draw a card, you sit on him for a turn, and then you grow him the next turn. And what do you grow him into? Conqueror level 2. This is the Conqueror level day, or from Fearless. Has an action, says search your deck for any 4 cards and place them on top of your deck in any order. So he's kind of like Snakebit, except you don't have to lose your score. You don't have to lose your score phase over it. You basically activate him. He searches your deck for 4 cards, place those on top of your deck. You draw those 4 cards next turn, and you get 12 points out of it. He's really good. Okay. Wrapping up, we have our Ultras. We have Percy Ultra, who is a 3 for 12 with the ability once per turn, as long as this card's in your small group, you may draw 1 card. And then to wrap that up, we have 2 of the new Conqueror Ultra, who has the ability that says as long as this card's in your small group, any hope with a shuffle back cost on the animal in your small group may be instead treated as hope cost. So he kind of does a conversion, and he just turns your shuffle back cost that's like on Professor into normal hope. So you use him basically for turns where you don't need to use the Professor combo. Now, the nice thing is that it uses this word here called may. Makes it an option, so you don't have to convert your cost if you don't want to, because you may do it. It is very powerful. Now, the main combo of this deck is to activate these Animo. Okay? Get another one of these out here because it's just fun. Okay, so you're going to start with activating Conqueror for 2. Then you're going to activate Professor, and you are going to grab a Professor. Let's see. You're going to grab a Professor. And then you're also going to grab an Aurora. You're going to play your last 2 to go activate your Oinkum. Oinkum is going to grab you 2 more Hope Power cards. And then you're going to pay 1 of those Hope and 1 of these Auroras, which Aurora would then get shuffled back into your deck, to go grab an Aurora, and a Professor. I think that's how you do that. And then you'll end up activating the Oinkum to grab another one. Yeah. Anyway, so you'll get to grab more power cards and more Animo, and you just keep activating them until you've stacked all the ones that you can. And this play right here just got you 44 points in a single turn. It's still really strong. You can also combo this with, say, like him, get him out here so that way you're not sacrificing your last cards unless you need to. You can also use it to go you can use Professor to get 2 Auroras to activate your next Animo, so you can activate your next Professor. And you can use your Tortosaurs to activate these. And you can always use Swimmer to go grab back a couple more power cards, so you can activate Tortosaur to go grab other things. So this deck just constantly replenishes your small group during your score phase. It also constantly replenishes your power that you are putting back into your deck. It's really good. I've greatly enjoyed it, and I recommend that you give it a try too. So this is going to go ahead and conclude our video for Mono Monday for Mono Hope in the month of Mono May. In the meantime, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating cities.